Your Excellencies, Presidents of the Asian Development Bank, honorable ministers and governors, distinguished delegates and guests, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are here with us in person, joining for Piazza Italia, the Media Center, or Sala Italia 1, or following us via streaming on our official websites. My name is Giancaterino, and it is a great honor for me to welcome you to the opening session of the 58th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Asian Development Bank. This prestigious gathering, held for the very first time in Italy, takes place here in Milan, a city renowned for its global outlook, economic vitality, and deep commitment to innovation, culture, and international dialogue. Over the next few days, Milan will serve as a stage for dialogue, decision-making, and shared vision. The theme of this year's annual meeting, Sharing Experience, Building Tomorrow, is a perfect reflection of the spirit we wish to embody. A spirit focused on collective action to address the complex challenges of our time. We are proud to host this important event and deeply grateful for your presence and your unwavering commitment to fostering growth, resilience, and cooperation across Asia and the Pacific. To begin our work together, let us now watch the official video of the 58th annual meeting of the Board of Governors, a video that will introduce us the 4 focus areas of the meeting: food system transformation, digital transformation, frontiers of the energy revolution, and innovation for resilience. Cutting across these 4 areas are the cross-cutting themes of regional cooperation and private sector development. And now, the official video.
We stand at a critical juncture in history, facing urgent and complex challenges. From the food we put on our tables, the digital technologies shaping our future, to the energy that powers our homes, and the ways we strengthen our resilience, we are writing a new chapter in our history, transforming the pieces of our experience into a brighter tomorrow for the next generation. In a region where more than half of the world's hungry live, burdened by soaring, volatile prices, weather-induced disasters, and environmental degradation, we are transforming food systems and protecting natural resources and ecosystems to build resilience and ensure sustainability. In a region where internet usage varies widely and the digital divide remains prevalent, threatening prosperity, resilience, and sustainability, we are harnessing digital technologies to unlock economic potential, create new opportunities for jobs, growth, innovation, and sustainable development. In a region where economies face the challenge of balancing energy needs with energy security and affordability, we are harnessing the dynamism of the private sector to support their transition to sustainable, modern, clean, and resilient energy systems to power economies. In a region where extreme heat, rising sea levels, water shortages, and severe weather conditions are reversing hard-won development gains, we are helping economies build resilience to the changing climate through the adoption of new technologies, practices, and strategies. This is the experience we are sharing. This is our journey as interconnected economies. This is the brighter tomorrow we are building today. for the next generation.
To officially open today's session, I now have the honor of reading a message addressed to this Assembly by the President of the Italian Republic, His Excellency Sergio Mattarella. Allow me to switch to Italian, the language in which the message was originally written. Please note that simultaneous interpretation is available through your headsets.
I'm pleased to extend my greetings to the 58th annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank, taking place for the first time in the Italian Republic. The strengthening of international cooperation is a goal enshrined in the Constitution of our country, and it acquires even greater value when promoted by multilateral bodies such as the Asian Development Bank, a strategic financial institution that plays a vital role in fostering inclusive and sustainable development across the region. The international community faces numerous challenges across various continents, from combating climate change, causing crisis and impoverishment, to addressing inequality and various forms of vulnerability. The Asian Development Bank has proven to be an effective instrument in tackling these issues. Confident that the Milan meeting will yield fruitful outcomes, I extend my best wishes for a successful and productive gathering. Signed, Sergio Mattarella.
And now, I have the honor of inviting to the stage the Governor of the Bank of Italy and Chair of the ADB Board of Governors, Mr. Fabio Panetta, for his institutional remarks.
Esteemed President Kanda, Your Excellency, Minister Giorgetti, Madam Secretary Yusubekova, Governors, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege to open the 58th annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank here in the beautiful city of Milan. We have come together today for a moment of celebration before turning to the important work that lies ahead. But before we proceed, let us take a moment to remember the victims of the devastating earthquake that struck Myanmar and Thailand at the end of March. We are proud that the Asian Development Bank responded swiftly, approving a grant to support the emergency and humanitarian needs of the people affected. The theme of this annual meeting is Sharing Experience, Building Tomorrow. Asia, Europe, and Italy all have important success stories to share. In the Asia and the Pacific, remarkable progress in poverty reduction has been achieved through greater participation in international trade and a gradual move up the value-added ladder within global value chains. Reflecting this dynamism, the region contributed approximately 60% to global growth in 2024. Europe, for its part, has made great strides over the years in regional integration, the development of the welfare state, the establishment of common regulatory standards, and the construction of cross-border infrastructure, including in the field of payments, which is essential for trade, growth, and financial inclusion. These achievements are the result of a peace dividend, decades of unprecedented progress in international cooperation and economic integration that fostered prosperity, stability, and development across the globe. Yet, today, this framework is under serious strain. In a time of rising geopolitical tensions and conflicts, we must guard against dangerous steps backwards that could jeopardize the hard-won gains of recent decades. Peace remains the indispensable foundation for progress. Modern economies are deeply interconnected, and openness to trade has benefited both advanced and developing nations, reducing inequality and lifting hundreds of millions of people out of extreme poverty. Protectionism now threatens to undo these achievements and to weaken the very fabric of global prosperity. Until the recent resurgence of trade tariffs, the Asia-Pacific region was on a path of steady growth, with inflation gradually easing. In Europe, economic activity was expanding at a moderate pace, while inflation was approaching the 2% target. Asia-Pacific remains the most dynamic region in the global economy. The robust growth in electronics exports last year reflects its ability to capitalize on accelerating demand driven by artificial intelligence, supported by its commanding 75% of global semiconductor production. This underscores both the advantages of an open and interconnected regional economy and the risks posed by rising trade barriers and policy uncertainty. These risks are acute for Asia-Pacific, but they also affect Europe, where external demand plays a crucial role in sustaining growth. The prosperity of both regions is deeply intertwined with global trade flows and a predictable international environment. Geopolitical tensions are, unsurprisingly, also a central concern for the Governing Council of the European Central Bank, on which I have the honor to serve as a voting member. Trade barriers and heightened uncertainty are key variables we must closely assess when formulating monetary policy in the euro area, as they affect both economic growth and the transmission of policy decisions. In this context, preserving economic integration and reinforcing international cooperation are not optional. They are essential. Multilateral institutions play a pivotal role in safeguarding openness, stability, and the shared rules that underpin global prosperity. The Asian Development Bank stands as a pillar of the multilateral system. With its deep reservoir of development expertise, robust capital base, and broad-based membership, it brings together regional and non-regional partners, united by shared development goals and a commitment to inclusive growth. Italy is fully committed to this mission. Its long-standing support for the ADB has been expressed through both financial contributions and the dedication of its human capital. Italian companies, renowned for their excellence in engineering, design, industrial innovation, and many other sectors, offer capabilities that can meaningfully contribute to the region's sustainable development. Their know-how aligns closely with the priorities of Asia and the Pacific. In this endeavor, we may find inspiration in the journey of Marco Polo. Departing from Venice in 1271 as a young merchant, he traveled eastward to China, where he became an advisor to the Khan and a devoted admirer of Asian culture. His 70-year odyssey, later chronicled in the book Il Milione, helped to bridge continents, foster trade, and ultimately inspired future explorers, including Christopher Columbus. Let us today be guided by the spirit of Marco Polo, who crossed not only the boundaries of geography, but also those of imagination. It was my will to discover, he wrote, and the will was stronger than the fear. May we continue to choose cooperation over conflicts, openness over barriers, and courage over hesitation. For the future we are building demands nothing less. Grazie e buon lavoro.
We sincerely thank Governor Panetta for his address and for highlighting Italy's engagement in the ADB. It is now my pleasure to welcome the guest of honour, Italy's Minister of Economy and Finance, the Honourable Giancarlo Giorgetti.
Your Excellencies, members of the Board of Governors of the Asian Development Bank, President Kanda, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Italian government, I wish to welcome you to Italy and Milan for the 58th annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank. This meeting takes place in a challenging context. We are arguably witnessing the biggest shift in the global economic landscape in recent decades, with major implications for financial markets, trade, inequality, and growth patterns across the globe. Major changes are underway. Risks related to conflicts and geopolitical tensions are rising. A wide range of uncoordinated policies are being deployed at increasing pace, with consequences that are hard to predict. The sharp increase in policy uncertainty risks delaying business purchases and investment and household consumption. Financial institutions are reassessing their borrowers' exposures. Against this background, we need strong and coordinated policy actions, including those aimed at a clearer, more stable and predictable trading environment. This enhanced collaboration would support higher and sustainable long-term economic growth, averting downside risks and mitigating their possible consequences. We also need to do our own homework, pursuing well-calibrated macroeconomic policies and tackling long-term challenges by ambitious structural reforms, enhancing the growth potential of our economies. At the same time, it might be time to rethink globalization as we know it. While it might be true that the global economy has benefited from trade liberalization, it is also true that the fruits of this process have not always been evenly distributed among nations and among the various production factors within each nation. We are being called upon to face this reality, as this all poses an objective risk in terms of economic security. In this already complex scenario, The emergence of a disruptive technology also has an impact and brings opportunities, but also risks that we cannot ignore. Since current rules have shown their limits, we should together define new rules and forge a new path. We should aim to achieve a fair and rules-based, not only a free and open trading and economic system. This is extremely important to ensure a level playing field across firms and international markets. It is imperative that we approach solutions with pragmatism, prioritizing stability over short-term solutions, while supporting the most vulnerable countries which are the most exposed to adverse spillovers at this critical juncture. Dialogue, constructive and transparent cooperation within the scope of multilateral mechanisms with common principles and shared rules are key factors to address the issues of common interest and to reduce uncertainty. International gatherings such as this annual meeting of the Asian Development Bank serve this fundamental purpose, which goes well beyond fulfilling statutory requirements. As a leading multilateral development bank and trusted partner in Asia and the Pacific, throughout its history, ADB has been working to solve complex challenges together with its members and partners, both regional and non-regional. It is fitting that this year's annual meeting takes place in Italy and in Europe. This is an opportunity to build bridges across nations and across continents. As a founding member of the bank since 1966 and a committed non-regional shareholder, Italy is honored to host the ADB annual meeting for the first time. The Italian Ministry of Economy, Finance and the Bank of Italy, in collaboration with the ADB, are keen to ensure the success of this event. An exhibition that has been prepared for this annual meeting illustrates the long-standing cooperation between Italy and the ADB. It highlights some of the more than 1,000 contracts that, from its foundation to 2024, testify the contribution of Italian companies across 34 countries in the Asia-Pacific region, in strategic sectors such as energy, transport, water, and urban infrastructure, industry, agriculture, among others. The theme of the 58th edition, Sharing Experience, Building Tomorrow, underscores the importance of linked traditions and innovation, the value of diverse perspectives and ideas, as well as the potential of acting together to solve common problems. Milan, a city with a long history dating back to the Roman times, is now at the forefront of innovation and history industry. And it is thus an ideal setting to exchange views and know-how and to plan a better future. Our ambition is for this event to be an opportunity for the launch of new partnerships, the onset of concrete projects, ideas, the catalyst for new forms of government-to-government, business-to-business, and government-to-business collaboration. The ADB annual meeting should not be seen as a standalone event, but as the beginning of the new chapter of our cooperation. We firmly believe that it is possible to collaborate in a fair, transparent, and mutually beneficial way, because it is really the only way to cooperate in the long run. I wish you all a productive, enriching, and inspiring annual meeting. Thank you. Grazie mille.
We thank Minister Giorgetti for his contribution. We now turn to the strategic leadership of the Asian Development Bank, and it is my distinct honor to now invite to the stage the President of the Asian Development Bank, Mr. Masato Kanda, for his keynote address.
Good morning. Welcome to the 58th annual meeting of Asian Development Bank. It is a great privilege to gather here in Milan, a city that for centuries symbolized resilience, innovation, and creativity. I'm deeply grateful to the government of Italy and the city of Milan for their warm hospitality. Milan is a perfect setting for our discussions of the future of Asia and the Pacific, a future that demands imagination, partnership, and action. When I assumed office in February, I brought with me a sense of optimism about the future of Asia and the Pacific. And over the past few months, as I have traveled and witnessed the energy and determination of the region's people, that optimism has grown stronger. The path ahead is not without challenges. External shocks, debt burdens, and climate change weigh heavily upon many economies, while the pace of technological change and shifting global dynamics add to the layers of complexity. But we need to see those challenges as opportunities to change. And we need to recognize that in every corner of the region, there is extraordinary resilience. That is why we are here today to seize opportunities, enhance resilience, and build a better tomorrow together. My friends and partners, we are at a critical juncture in history, and there is no textbook for this situation. We must recognize that we don't have all the answers, but we are not starting from zero. Growth remains solid, driven by strong domestic demand. Trade and economic integration are deepening, not only within the region, but with key partners here in Europe and around the world. Supply chains are diversifying, digital connectivity is accelerating, and innovation is thriving. Asia and the Pacific is rich with potential. With the right actions, we can ensure that this potential translates into lasting progress. Uncertainty is not a reason for retreat. It is a call for action. It challenges us to be bolder, to move faster, and to work more closely than ever before. We must seize the opportunity to transform lives and build a brighter future for the next generation. To chart a path forward, we must solve these challenges with clarity and determination. We see 4 areas as being key to driving transformational change. First, the vulnerability of our food systems demands urgent action. The pandemic, droughts, floods, and global disruptions threaten food security and have pushed millions of people toward poverty and hunger. Second, the digital divide is leaving millions behind. While technology can improve access to education, finance, markets, and public services, too many people remain disconnected from the digital economy. Third, the need for sustainable energy system is more urgent than ever. Growing economies require stable, clean, affordable energy to power their development. Fourth, the impacts of rising sea levels, water scarcity, extreme heat, and severe weather conditions are reversing hard-won development gains. Building resilience to the changing climate requires developing new approaches, solutions, and financial products that protect women, the poor, and the most vulnerable. At ADB, we are committed to turning opportunities into lasting change. We are acting with urgency and ambition, with investments in people, institutions, and innovations that will define the future of our region. Asia and the Pacific is home to over half of the world's hungry, around 370 million people. Almost 2 billion people in the region lack access to a healthy diet. At the same time, the way we produce food consumes vast amounts of land and water and is the main driver of the loss of our precious biodiversity. In response, ADB is dramatically scaling up our support to transform the system that provides food for Asia and the world. For this reason, I just announced that our support for food systems transformation will reach $40 billion by 2030. Our support will strengthen food systems across the region, building resilience from farms to markets, protecting nature and biodiversity, advancing nutrition, and scaling agribusiness financing, all with a focus upon empowering women and harnessing technology. At the same time, we are investing deeply in digitalization. Access to reliable, affordable, and secure digital services is a foundation for opportunity. ADB's support for digital technologies is helping millions access formal financial services, modernizing payment platforms, and introducing national digital IDs in the Pacific and beyond to reduce costs and improve transparency and strengthen trust. We are working at the frontiers of the energy revolution through initiatives like the ASEAN Power Grid, which will modernize and interconnect energy systems across fast-growing Southeast Asian economies. ADB stands ready to commit up to $10 billion to make the ASEAN Power Grid vision a reality. And we are deepening our investment to build greater resilience by strengthening infrastructure, restoring and protecting ecosystems, and helping vulnerable communities adapt to a world of intensifying climate and environmental risks. Finally, the region will not grow and add the millions of jobs we need without private sector development. ADB's private sector operations have more than doubled since 2022, and we aim to further increase private sector finance fourfold to $13 billion a year by 2030. The ingenuity of entrepreneurs, businesses, and investors will enable the solutions of tomorrow. Our job is to help unleash this potential, especially in the market where it is needed the most. Each of these efforts is powerful on its own, but together they represent a bold, integrated strategy for resilient, inclusive, and sustainable growth. To deliver upon this ambitious agenda, ADB must continue to evolve. That is why we have strengthened our institutional resources and boosted our financial firepower. We have created $100 billion in additional headroom, which will grow our operations by 50% over the next decade, from $24 billion to $36 billion a year, to meet the rising aspirations of our developing member countries. We are advancing open regionalism with new platforms for digital customs, coordinated investment in resilient infrastructure, support for cross-border energy and transport systems, and driving greater cooperation with sub-regional programs in areas like Central Asia, South Asia, and Greater Mekong sub-region. We are deepening financial integration by helping to develop local currency bond markets, strengthen financial safety nets, and promote seamless cross-border transactions. And we are committed to strengthening governance and transparency. We know that development finance must not only be effective, it must be trusted. Strong safeguards, rigorous sustainability disclosures, and policy dialogue will remain central to our work. Our ambition is not simply to grow bigger, but it is to become more effective and more inclusive. Throughout this transformation, ADB remains anchored in values that I personally hold close: humility, contribution, and trust. Humility reminds us that we must listen before we act. We must learn from the communities we serve, respecting local insights and responding to their needs. Our contribution is tangible impact on the ground. AD must work for the poor and the most vulnerable and the ecosystem they depend upon. These are the people we serve, and our success will be judged by the contributions we make for them. Finally, trust. Trust is something we appreciate, we need to build, and we must maintain. We deeply appreciate our stakeholders' trust in ADB, and we will work with government, the private sector, civil society, and partner institutions to secure we remain their most trusted partner. I have felt the impact of putting these values into practice. My first official visit as ADB president was to Cambodia. There, I listened to fisher families who are embracing sustainable practices to revitalize marine ecosystem while strengthening their livelihood. I saw our contribution at the high school where ADB is providing modern labs and comprehensive teacher training to give students the science and the technology skills Cambodia needs to thrive. I felt the trust of the people we aim to serve, from the Prime Minister to local community members. Like the experiences we will share this week in Milan, these achievements are testament to what is possible when humility, the contribution we make, and the trust from our partners come together. Friends, the path ahead is not easy, but it is full of optimism. Asia and the Pacific is home to extraordinary opportunity and potential. This was clear to me when I saw the optimism and the smiles on the faces of the girls and the boys at the school in Cambodia. If we act boldly, work together, and stay true to our values, we will build a region that is more prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Together, we can unlock new opportunities. Together, we can lift millions out of poverty. And together, we can leave a legacy of hope and progress for generations to come. Thank you very much indeed.